Ah, that's a very good question. The question was, did I ever get rich? Yeah, I think probably I'm one of the richest people in the world. I know if you open the world's top 100 wealthiest people, you won't find my name there. Okay? But if you really honestly, I would say yes, I am rich. But you see, what really is wealth? What is the true wealth? The true wealth is contentment. If your heart is at rest and you feel peace and tranquility in your soul, then you have everything. But what is it going to benefit you really? What does it benefit you? If you have millions and millions or billions and billions and you're miserable, what does it benefit you? If you have all that money and you're miserable, you've got nothing. See, really, this is the thing. I was looking for wealth, but alhamdulillah, Allah guided me and He gave me wealth. The true wealth. The true wealth, which is the peace and the tranquility and the contentment that comes from submitting yourself to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alhamdulillah.
Well, I'm also a revert to Islam, and I did that when I was 15, and I'm now almost 18. And I'm finding it really hard with my parents at the moment, and I was wondering, in retrospect with you, would you say anything or deal with your parents differently now that you're looking back at the situation?
I would definitely deal with my parents differently, and I would advise anyone who is, first of all, mashallah, you said you just become Muslim recently? MashaAllah, when you were 15, MashaAllah, Alhamdulillah. Yeah, okay, so you've had a few years of dealing with your parents already maybe. But I mean, my advice is, I always advise people, take it really easy with your parents. In fact, I will even go as far as to say, don't even talk. I know this is going to sound controversial, but I'm going to suggest it. Don't even talk to them about Islam. Don't. Wait until they ask you questions. Yes? Let them have their space, let them have their time. You know, you have to remember, please remember this. Your parents will always remember you as a little baby. I remember my son as a little child, a little baby lying on my chest, sleeping, and I was afraid to go to sleep because I was listening, is he still breathing or not? That's what I remember. You know, I mean, the guy is huge now, and both of them are pretty huge. Well, I've got 9 kids, right? Okay, including one that's just a little baby. But you know, that's how you remember them. So when this little kid, right, starts telling you about, no, you're wrong, and it's like this and it's like that, it's like, hello, I changed your nappies, you know. So, you know, the thing is that you have to remember that with your parents, and that's why I recommend take it really easy with them. Wait for them to ask you questions. Now, when they've asked you a question, that means they've indicated a curiosity, right? They want to know an answer. And then the onus on them is to listen. Now, if they complain, you say, you know, in the nicest way, you say, Mum and Dad, look, I didn't bring it up, you asked me. I'm sorry if I upset you. And just leave it, okay? Now, of course, you're going to feel really like you want to let them know about Islam. So a tactic that I suggest sometimes, especially if it's difficult, is to leave some books lying around. Yeah? You know, and believe me, they're going to pick them up and they're going to get curious. And you could leave some books. I mean, it depends on your parents, right? It really does. Some parents, they really want to know, and some parents, they don't. But the most important thing is you have to respect your parents so much. Remember Allah, He told us in the Quran that we shouldn't even say uff. You know, we shouldn't even go, huh. We shouldn't even say that to our parents. That's how we need to respect them. Paradise, that your parents are your paradise and your hellfire. If they're pleased with you, Allah is pleased with you. If they're displeased with you, Allah is displeased with you. So, yani, you have to do everything you can. Okay? As long as the only barrier I have to say, what can I say? The only thing is this. is that you are not allowed to do something haram to please them. Because there is no obedience to the creation. There's no obedience to the creation in disobedience to Allah. In other words, we don't obey a created being and disobey Allah. But with my parents, believe me, anything they tell me to do, inshallah, I will do my best to do it. As long as, but if they ask me to do something haram, I say, Mum and Dad, that's the limit for me. Right? You're asking me to do something that Islam does not allow, and that's something I can't do. But anything else, you know, I will compromise on as much as possible. But when it comes to the haram things, no, I will not. Or ordering me to leave something that Allah has ordered, no, that I can't do. But otherwise, you do absolutely everything. I believe the best way to give da'wah to your parents is by treating them the way Islam tells you to treat them. Through your example, through your manners, through really treating them in that respect and honor that Islam gives to the parents. Future of, it's a very good question, a very, very good question. The future of Islam in the West. You know, I really don't know. You know, I used to be very optimistic. You know, maybe even Islam might, the light of Islam may come again from the West. That's what I used to think. Because it seemed to me that the West was teaching Muslims some things that we had lost amongst ourselves. You know, if you go to the Muslim lands, you know, I mean, this is true, right? Okay, here in New Zealand, by and large, 99% of the time, right? Do you have to bribe policemen? If you want your telephone connected, right? Does it wait? Do you have to wait 12 months, but if you want it to be quicker, you have to give a big hefty bribe? No? But let's look at our Muslim countries, right? Yeah? Everywhere you go, bribery and corruption. Bribery and corruption. Okay? Oppressive governments, dictatorial regimes, random arrests. Will you feel really sure that in a Muslim country that justice will be done if you go to court? Or you think that the one who pays the judge the biggest bribe is going to get the ruling in their favor? I mean, this is the sort of problems that we face. In the West we have social services, we have free healthcare, we have so many things. Our religion teaches those things. Islam condemns so strongly corruption, bribery, lying, cheating, stealing, oppression and tyranny. Justice is something so essential to our religion. Yet where do we find these things in our lands? Where do we find? Do we even find them in our own homes, amongst ourselves? You see? And so I think there are some qualities that are so important to our religion, but it seems somehow we lost them. Yet the really strange thing is we find these qualities here in the West. Now let's be honest. This has to be some of the reasons we love living in the West so much. Let's be honest. Of course we have problems with, you know, some issues of sexuality, nudity, girlfriends, boyfriends, homosexuality. We have problems with that. We'll be honest, we do. We find it very difficult. The whole sex, drugs and rock and roll culture is so different to the way we look at the world. But that's only one aspect, right? Isn't it? But there is another aspect that we find so compatible. Yes? Okay, so, you know, I really had a hope that, and that maybe the Muslims living in the West will feel inspired again to return to these essential qualities and values that we have lost. And it reminds me of Muhammad Abdu. Muhammad Abdu was a scholar from Egypt, from Al-Azhar in the last century. He traveled to England. He said, I found Islam, but no Muslims.